Yo, what up? It's your boy Oscar G and this motherfucker again. It's been about a week since I've uploaded a video, but I'm back at it. You already know, even if I take a while, these are still gonna come out no matter what. Um, yeah, this one's gonna be a little different as you can see by the background. It's pitch black. This one's gonna be a little bit more of a listener than a Lofi viewer or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Um, Here's the deal. So I fucking act like a mad lad on this podcast, on my streams on Twitch, a lot of that shit, you know. But I guess I haven't really. I hope that that microphone was plugged in properly. Long story short, I'm always wilding out on this public forum and shit. But tell you the truth, I also want to talk about a little bit about just well. Let me tell you how it started, right? Like, let me take a sip here. I was working today and I like to watch these these Reddit pages where pretty much people either tell scary stories, interesting stories, funny, weird, sad, whatever, right? And there's a really good channel. You should check it out, Radio TTS. The voice isn't too robotic. I know some people don't like that. This one's really it's not too bad. It sounds a little bit more human. Um, to tell you the truth, they have some interesting ass shit, man. Just things that I guess you have questions to, but you just never figured out how to really like. Never found a way to get answers, right? Like, or just questions that are interesting to be answered by normal people, by everyday people, because it makes you realize that a lot of us are more alike than what you know, social media and all that shit likes and tends to do. So here's the deal. Um, I saw a bunch of them, but the one that really stuck out to me, and the reason why this this podcast is a little different, is because the question was asked, "What is the loneliest thing you've ever done?" And that really brought a lot of memories to me. Um, and it really, it just hearing people talk about all the fucked up shit that they dealt with, all the sad shit, all the very very hard stories to hear. You know, um, a few of them were there was a story about his this guy and his best friends, how he pretty much invited them for his birthday. He set everything up like a bowling alley thing. They were gonna go get something to eat, something like that, some shit like that, right? And what ended up happening was that nobody showed up to his party. I think he got there like an hour early, and pretty much he got there an hour early. And sorry, I'm barely trying to remember it. I have shit memory from the jump. So this is gonna be a little bit more serious, but yeah, I mean you can't I can't stop the goofy, right? I can't do it. But like I said, pretty much everybody canceled on him, and he was just left alone there by himself. I mean, it and it's a painful thought. I mean, I guess sometimes we do things that we don't really think about how it'll affect another person. I'm pretty sure his friends, wanted to go, but there was something that happened. Or maybe some of them are just assholes, didn't feel like going, even though they said they would. We also got those guys, right? And it's just shit like that, right? And what really hit me home was that feeling of loneliness, and I think we forget what that feels like a lot. Um, and unfortunately, for some of us, we live with it every day. I know there's a lot of people like this. So if you're kind of like me or you felt this way, it's very strange because I have a little bit of a difficult time with myself because on the one hand I'm very humble and enough things have happened to me where I know I'm not shit, right? Like in the grand scheme of things, objectively, I'm just another meat sack amongst other meat sacks, shit like that, right? And to tell you the truth, it's rough. It's rough, right? It's rough realizing that we're all pretty meaningless in the stretch of it all. And I promise you, there's a positive outlook on this. Just not right now, but just roll with me here. You know, I think we've all, at one point or another in our lives, have sat down all alone, whether it's in our bed, on our table, in our car, and life just became too much. And life hurts. A lot of life is about pain, and it's a very difficult thing to contend with, especially with how, well, how, I don't know, man. Like it, especially kids now. Like I can't imagine living all this stuff and dealing through such a social revolution, right? Because that's what it is. Since the beginning of like 2012 when social justice warriors were coming in and all this stuff, I mean, it was been nonstop social revolution after social revolution, and kids nowadays are definitely getting caught up in all this shit. And listen, it's a necessary change. Black lives do matter, as do blue lives, all that shit, right? Um, I don't disagree with any of that. I think all lives matter, you know, to other lives, right? The grand scheme of things, like I said, nobody really matters. But what does matter is what we put emphasis on, what we put emotional weight on, what we put our energy into. These things are just, they're not important unless you want them to be. And nowadays, kids don't understand that it's gonna be, even with social media. Like I have social media, I have a lot of friends on social media, and I've had those moments where you're growing up, you got out of high school, and you were good friends with this one person, right? And you thought that you were still cool, and there's a party, you throw in a party, or you just throw in a social gathering, whatever it is, and you invite this person, and they're like, yeah, totally, whatever, I'm down, like old times, and they don't show up. They ghost you, they block you, whatever it is, man. And that takes a toll on a person's emotions, their emotional well-being, shit like that. And it's a very harsh reality of life that the older you get, the harder it is to keep friendships, to have friendships, to maintain them. Like all this shit is so difficult, man. I mean, like nowadays, I have a very small circle, but back in high school, I mean, I was friends with everybody. You know, of course, I had the inner circle. You always do. Um, just make sure that you choose the right people for that inner circle because as there are good friends, there are also bad friends, and that's also another reality. Not all your friends are out for your benefit. And of course, I was able to kind of weed out those friends over time. I personally believe that I have a pretty good friend structure right now and shit like that. But here's the thing: there's some people that in high school they didn't even have friends, or there's people that just never found that group of people that they could relate to, that they could talk to, that support, right? Because you need that. We're social creatures by nature. And as much as you love to be the lone wolf, as much as you love to be whatever the fuck you are, at the end of the day, everybody has been in that situation where you sit down on your bed, there's silence, there's no music, there's no social media, there's nothing. And you sit there and you think about all your life, your decisions, And for one reason or another, the most shit that you can come up with is usually the most painful shit because it's the most traumatizing and it's the shit that usually stays with you, right? There's a lot of things that happened to me without me even being responsible for it that I still feel responsible for in my past. There's things that I know I did wrong. There's things that I know I should have done that but I never did. I have regrets. And when shit gets quiet, when the friends are gone, when the music stops, when you run out of fucking TikTok videos, when you run out of YouTube videos to watch, being alone with your thoughts is one of the most difficult shit in the world for most of us. Because whether you like it or not, this podcast, TikTok, music, everything is a distraction from the reality of life. And it's very difficult to accept it, accept life for what it is. I mean, like, fuck, man. Like, just the realization that you're gonna have to work for the rest of your life, the realization that, like, not everybody in the world is good. Not everybody in the world cares about humans. Not everybody in the world cares about anybody. That there's some people that just have an amazing, happy life. They've done everything they can in their whole fucking life, right? They went to college, they did this, they got the girl, they married her, never cheated, paid taxes. You could do everything right, man. And all it takes is one crazy motherfucker to pull in your house, break a window with a shotgun, and blow your wife's brains out, and then you're next. That's such a traumatizing thing to think about. I just painted you a horrible fucking picture, but it's a reality that happens every single day. Now, where is the positivity? Here's the positivity. And keep in mind that I'm bringing all this, I'm coming up with all this shit off the bat, okay? These aren't, I don't have a fucking script. I don't have anything. I'm just coming. So if my thoughts aren't perfect, and you want a little bit more of an explanation on what the fuck I'm talking about, then let me know. Right? Let me know. I'll explain things. I don't mind talking with viewers. Right? Sure, it's a little bit of a long, a delayed response, but I got you. I'll respond to whatever you're curious about. If you're going through some shit, I got you. Because, to tell you the truth, I've always been that guy. And sometimes it's very difficult to be that guy. Now, what do you mean by that guy? I'm talking about when you're ever in school and you just felt like shit, right? Things weren't going right, whether in your personal life, social life, whatever the fuck it is, right? Maybe you're just going through a tough time emotionally, whatever it is, and just that person pops up in your life and they just kind of, whether you realize it or not, they just appear and they help you go through the tough times, and it seems like they were just there for that. They were there to get you through a time in your life that whether you probably could have done it by yourself, but it was great to have that hand on the shoulder and to let you know, just keep fucking moving forward, bro. You know, just keep moving forward. And that's one of the most difficult statements for me to tell myself to keep moving forward because usually I'm the guy telling people to keep moving forward, and it's usually those emotions aren't reciprocated, right? For whatever reason, right? When I was younger, I did a lot of that. I, 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 I saw somebody that was in pain and need, and there was just something inside me that just felt like I have to at least cheer this person up. I have to at least get this person in a good mood because I recognize the pain. I'm a very empathetic person, whether this fucking podcast reflects that or not. I feel people's pain. I feel my own pain as if it just happened to me. It's a very difficult thing to handle, which is why nowadays I'm a little bit more reserved. I'm not very open to everybody and all that shit. You know, I had to do it for my own well-being. But here's the thing: I really believe that when before I even did this podcast, before I did anything, when it was still a dream, the dream was do comedy. Why? Because in my darkest times, in the times that I personally put a gun to my mouth and thought, if I just pull this trigger, the pain will go away. If I just slice my throat, if I cut my veins, if I do whatever the fuck I do. And it's very difficult to talk about that because, like I said, I feel that loneliness and that pain. Which is why I think I never truly, which is why I think it makes me a very empathetic person. Because a lot of us forget what pain feels like until it happens to us. Unfortunately for me, I have, like, you know, a few mental issues and shit like that. Not too bad, but I definitely feel the pain. Even now, I'm trying to hold back tears. I'm trying to still talk normally, but you can definitely hear it in my voice. I remember pain. It's one of the most difficult things that about myself that I don't like, but I know it's necessary because when you forget what struggle is, when you forget what pain is, or you forget what all those things are, you become ignorant and you become egotistical and you become a person that doesn't care about others. And as much as I tell you how to go fuck yourselves, whatever it is, it's all for a joke. Because I've sat there in that bed, in that car, just dreading existence, right? But what do? You pop in a podcast, you pop in something interesting, you pop in music, you try to get yourself out of it. I know I'm not the best fucking podcaster in the world, but that's what I'm here to do. That's why I wanted to become a comedian. Give me a sec here. I gotta get a little something to kind of calm myself down. Because these are difficult things to talk about. Like I said, these emotions don't leave me. And so I get what you feel. Right now, if you feel alone, if you feel helpless, I know what you feel because I never forget those emotions. I can't. You can say I'm fucking cursed with that shit. It's gonna sound a little different. I'm sorry. I just don't want the filter to smell like smoke. So I'm gonna pull it off. Hopefully that's not that big of a difference. I really hope it's not that big of a difference. I just don't want it to be filled with smoke. Um, but like I said, man, like I've been in those situations and they're not easy to get out of. They've never been easy. You know, I still remember the worst day of my life. I mean, I had a worst day at work, right? And one of the few emotional supports that I had wasn't in town at the time. I couldn't talk to them. They were busy doing something, and I was left alone with my thoughts. And it felt like it was too much, and it felt like I was truly alone in a world, in an overpopulated world, which is one of the saddest thoughts you can think of. And I went to a spot that I know I could be alone. I just went to some random parking lot. Went all the way to the top, parking garage, sorry. Went all the way to the top and just stood out there and looked out to the city, to the trees, felt the wind, and I cried. And I almost jumped off that garage. It's been so many times at this point that I don't even know how many to count where it's just too much. And good friends aside, good parents aside, good emotional structure, emotional whatever the fuck. Outside of that, if you feel alone, even with all that, it doesn't matter because you feel alone. But I want to tell you that you're not alone. And I know it's such a fucking used fucking statement, right? That you're not alone. There's people that care about you, blah, 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 blah. I've heard it 1,000 times. And in the moment of pain and existential dread, you don't Those fucking words have no value. And the reason why is because you probably don't value yourself. And you have to learn to do that. I used to be a Christian, hard Christian. Like I said, I partied so hard that I had to do the religion because I didn't know what to turn to. I drank myself into a blackout in middle school. Did most of that shit in the beginning of high school so much that my fucking liver hurt. You ever have a fucking ninth grader with a fucking hurting liver already, bro? Like that's some deep drinking, right? And even then, like with all that blackout shit, I was still thinking about killing myself over and over and over again. You know, I felt worthless. Even now, sometimes I feel that way. But to tell you the truth, you just gotta move forward, bro. You can't stop. Not for the sake of others, but for the sake of yourself. Because in all that pain, that's when you feel the best. When you're able to get yourself out of that rut. When you show your true inner strength to yourself, that allows you to keep moving forward. You have to dig deep through the pain, through the mud and guts, through the fucking black pit of despair that you're in, and you're just reaching for somebody to hold your hand. You need to understand that no one can take you out of that pit of despair but yourself. No one but yourself. Therapy helps. People still kill themselves after therapy, but it damn well does help. So if you feel like shit and you truly need somebody, just get a therapist. Because as much as friends try to help you, they're not professionals. They're not. Some of us just have a chemical imbalance that makes us feel this way. We don't realize it, but we're just fucking animals. We're true animals. We like to think of ourselves different from cats, dogs, blah blah blah, because we built these fucking structures. We drive cars. We created music. We created all this shit, but we still feel alone. And the reason why is because you've never learned to value yourself. You have to value yourself. And valuing yourself doesn't mean that you're not gonna feel alone anymore. It doesn't mean that. Life is a fucking struggle, right? Which is why we have heroin addicts, we have coke addicts, we have meth addicts, because you either fucking evolve or you fucking die. And you have any fucking inch of self-preservation inside you, whether it's 90.00001%, you cling to that shit. You hold it with all your fucking might, and you push forward. You push forward, because that's what you fucking need to do. And I'm not just telling you this, I'm telling myself this, right? Because I constantly live in despair. Like the Hulk always stays angry. In that fucking MCU universe, I always stay depressed. I always stay sad. But what do? I swallow that shit. And I keep moving forward. Sorry, guys. As I said, it's not easy. It's not fucking easy, guys. But do it for yourself. No one else but you. That's the one thing you should be selfish in. Live for you. And make sure along the way you help other people along the way. Because that will make you feel better. I feel like shit right now, but I hope this helps somebody. Sorry, the mic cover's not on. You're gonna hear a lot of fucking wind. Oh. This is the other side of the coin. For a fucking mad lad like me that talks the most shit, that goes up on stage and tells a fucking joke about, you know, like all this helping Asian shit is great. I'm not even going to the fucking joke. Alright, it's a shit joke. I haven't worked it out.
why am I even telling a shit joke here? End of the day is, I talk a lot of mad shit. You welcome to go to the other episodes and shit like that. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to entertain you guys. You know? And no, I'm not begging for fucking views, like, share, whatever the fuck you want. If you don't like this podcast, that's okay. I don't need you to like this podcast. I just want you to be happy. I want everybody in the fucking world to be happy, but it's an unnecessary reality. I'm just gonna put on the mic because I feel like there's a lot of wind going through, so I'm gonna change this. Sorry for that noise. It's rough, man. It's rough. There's been times where I come in here and I talk about the goofiest shit, but right before that, you know, I'm crying because, you know, as much as I say I don't care, I do want to be successful. I want this podcast to grow and for me to be able to reach more people. You know, it's why I got into comedy. Let me check the time here, sorry. It's why I got into comedy. Because when I felt like that, I would put on a comedy show and I would laugh and I would forget about all my problems. And in a world right now where there's just victimization after victimization, there's pain after pain, there's fucked up story after fucked up story, whether you're on TikTok, whether you're on whatever. As much as there's funny shit, there's always gonna be that motherfucker that pulls some sad shit. There's always that motherfucker that pulls some depressing shit. And sometimes that reminds you of the pain that you feel. You know? Like that video. I'm pretty sure that guy made that video so that people would see what true loneliness is, you know. For whatever reason, right? But I'm here to fucking tell you, man, just live for yourself. You know? Some people are on the fucking edge. You know what I'm saying? Like Joey says, you got one foot in the grave, another one on a banana peel. Get yourself out of that fucking rut, man. Do it for you. Whatever fucking reason you got, whatever reason, whether it's for your mom, whether it's for you, whether it's for your brother, for your son, for your daughter, anything, man. Cling to that shit and don't let it go. Because as much as there's overpopulation, as much as there's pain in the fucking world, we can't change that unless we change ourselves. And I know that's some fucking rehash bullshit that fucking white 20-year-olds fucking put, or any fucking 20-year-olds put, you know, on their fucking bio, whatever it is, right? Trying to be, you know, girls putting inspirational quotes next to their fucking asshole on the fucking IG and shit like that. Cling to whatever it is, man. Cling to whatever it is that you hold dear. And if it's nothing, learn to fucking care for yourself. Because no one else will. There'll be times when no one else will. When no one else cares about you, you have to care for yourself. And when you're a person like me that lives with constant pain, that lives with constant struggle in their own fucking mind, you put that shit to the side and you keep moving forward. So many times in my head, it just feels like I'm just held down by tons of weight and I'm just trying to crawl towards happiness. I'm trying to crawl towards success. I'm trying to crawl towards something better. And it gets difficult. You get tired. We're humans. You get tired. You get thrown off by fucking stress of life and all this shit. You need to care for yourself. And yeah, there's people that are fucking happy. They still feel pain. Nobody on this fucking planet does not feel pain, whether you're a human or not. You have to understand that. Even the most rich motherfucker at one point or another has had to cry, has had to feel pain, has had to feel suffering. We are into this world. We got thrown into this fucking planet without our fucking consent, right? But the important thing is that you keep moving fucking forward, man. I don't give a fuck what you take from this. You want to call me a bitch? Go ahead. I'm just gonna end up laughing about it because I don't take myself too seriously. You know, just try to not hurt others, man. Try to not hurt others. Do your best to have a good attitude. And I know, I've heard those fucking words when I'm deep in that shit. And it doesn't fucking matter, but you gotta make those fucking words matter, man. You gotta make something matter. Because what else do you have, man? What else do you fucking have other than this? You know? I came from nothing. Nothing. And I don't say I came from nothing because all my family was poor. There's parts of my family that own entire fucking, utilities for an entire fucking state. They don't even know I fucking exist. There's family members that are rich as fuck right now. I've never asked them for any money because at the end of the day, you know, I've been in the 2-story house with the two fucking, 3-bedroom big ass house with a big ass backyard, along with a water slide with a fucking basketball court, with a fucking TV so big, it makes the fucking plasma screens look like a bitch these days. Those thick ass ones that weigh like a fucking ton. I went out to Disneyland. I've done, even in all that time, there's just, you know, there's still stress, man. Throughout your entire life, you're gonna feel struggle, and that's a very difficult thing to come to terms with. Life is an endless struggle, but your view on it, your fucking inner strength is what's gonna keep you going. And if you don't have enough of that, come here. And every once in a while, I'm gonna do these new podcasts that it's just about me talking about this shit. You know, these things are difficult to talk about. You just saw me fucking cry, and I'm just talking about shit. You know. I subscribe to optimistic nihilism that nothing fucking matters, but that's okay because when nothing matters, you get to choose what matters. You get to choose what matters, man. Choose yourself. Choose your own fucking happiness because no one else will. And if you're lucky enough to have those people, don't let them go. And check on them as well. Because just because they seem happy and shit like that, that doesn't mean that they're not behind closed doors dealing with some shit. And that's what I learned with being, a Christian hardcore Christian for a while is that those sermons, when they would say like, listen, life is a struggle, man. And I get why people cling to religion because they need something to hope for. Yeah, is it wrong for them to try to stop other people from living their life just because they assume that they're in the right? Yeah, it's wrong. But at the end of the day, they're just clinging to something so they can feel like it's worth living. Life is worth living, man. And we have to realize that whether you're a social justice warrior, whether you're a fucking Trump guy, whatever it is, every single person that that is out there behind closed doors, they can be 100% happy, but there's gonna be that one time where that darkness creeps up on you, boy. You know, whether it's a memory, whether it's a song, whatever it is, don't let that shit bring you down. Yeah, I'm just some fucking fat Mexican talking to you right now, but it's okay. Alright? You listen to me. When you have nothing to hope for, you come to me. You come to these fucking podcasts and you laugh. You just distract yourself. Because sometimes we need that. Sometimes we need distractions. And if it's not my podcast, go to whatever the fuck you want. Go to Streamers Noah J45. Go to fucking PewDiePie. Go to fucking Joey. Go to fucking JRE. Go to whatever the fuck you need to do to to make yourself keep going forward, man. Whatever it is. Just make sure that you don't hurt other people. Because those people are also suffering as well. We're all suffering in one way or another. Especially if you're in the fucking US. We got no fucking health insurance. Fucking the job market's garbage right now. For people that just don't have the mental capacity to go to college. Or whatever it is, man. And that's bullshit. I wish that I could change things for the morally better. But I can't. The only thing I can do is get on this fucking mic and tell you to keep moving forward And whatever your fucking goal is, you work towards that. Through the blood, sweat, and tears, you work towards that. You move forward. Whether you're fucking working out, you know what. If you've ever worked out, you know what the fuck that feels like. When you're on that last rep, you're trying to push your body. You're trying to overcome your limits. There's nothing better than lifting that shit. There's nothing better than being able to do an extra curl. There's nothing better than that. Because you overcame yourself. Do that shit. Do that shit. And yeah, it's not the best fucking worded podcast, but I just want y'all to know. There's a motherfucker rooting for y'all, whether I know y'all or not, whether I know what you're dealing with or not. There's a motherfucker letting y'all know that this isn't the end of it, okay? You gotta remind yourself, even in the worst fucking storms, there's a rainbow at the end of it. Because life is a struggle, but eventually you get out of that struggle. And you keep fighting until you get out. You don't stop. Even while you're crying, even though you feel like you're not anything, even if you feel like a fucking speck of dust in this fucking crazy thing we call life, you keep moving forward. You claw your way out of it. Do it for yourself. Okay? And I'm fucking rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. Get your shit together, bro. If you want to go to college, go to college. If you want to do this or that, you fucking do it, man. When I had a gun to my fucking mouth, I didn't expect to be here. When I thought about jumping out of that building, I didn't expect to be here. In a completely different city, with an amazing girlfriend. My brother's working himself to become better. Everybody's working to become better. Now, that makes me nothing but happiness. Because a lot of us have a lot of struggles, and when we're able to overcome it together, we're able to overcome it together. You know? And there's people that don't have anybody, and I get you. I've had nobody before. I felt like I've had nobody before, whether that was reality or not. That's a very sad thing to feel. But I'm here to tell you, live for yourself, bro. I know I'm repeating the same shit, but I have to drill this shit into your fucking brain till you get it, because I've had to do the same fucking thing. I've had to do the same thing, man. Like the fucking, like, fuck, man. Like, how the fuck do you pull yourself out when you were 12 and I fucking, I was fearing for my life for an entire year. That felt like 20 years in prison, man. I felt trapped in this fucking world, and I felt like nobody could stop the inevitable death that I had, and I've never been able to get rid of that. That fear, that desperation to keep moving forward, that desperation that you're just a fucking victim. It's very fucking difficult to get past that, man. Very difficult. But I believe in you. Even when no one else does, even if you don't do it on your own, just come here. If you're having a tough time, come listen to this shit, man. And yeah, skip the first 20 fucking minutes of this, because you're already feeling that way. And just come to this. Get your ass off that couch, get your ass off that bed, get your ass off that car. And keep pressing. Whatever the fuck you had to do, whether you're putting gas, whether you're fucking going to your mom's house, whatever the fuck it is, man. Get your shit together and keep moving forward. Because that's the only thing we can do. As human beings, as animals, as a fucking speck of dust. You keep moving forward and you don't fucking stop. That's not the American way. That's not any fucking way. That's life. And it's a very difficult thing to argue with. It's a very difficult thing to fucking grasp. Because we get caught up in all this bullshit. We get caught up in all this bullshit, man. So many people that are happy now. That at one point or another, I saw them and they wanted to take their life, and I talked them out of it. I've sat in cars with people that just wanted me to give them my gun so that they can blow their fucking brains out. I've sat with people that made a mistake, and now the entire fucking school calls them a fucking slut. I've sat there in people's darkest fucking hour, and I've sat there, looked them in the fucking eyes, and told them to keep moving forward. Even if I felt like shit, even if I felt like I didn't want to fucking exist anymore, I moved forward. This isn't a fucking happy ending. There is no fucking happy ending, but you can make something of yourself. You can make something of this fucking life that we didn't ask for, that we didn't want, because we have no fucking choice. Okay? So whatever the fuck you're dealing with, whether it's minor or it's the fucking world is ending and crumbling around you, you get your fucking ass up. Get your ass up and keep moving forward. Okay? There's guys that explain this a lot better. Go to fucking David Goggins. Listen to his shit. You're gonna feel like the baddest motherfucker on the fucking planet. Just because you saw how this man went from being a piece of shit, a tub of shit. He tells that to him. He explains that to himself. The man fucking broke his body to become better, and he did that. He's not superhuman. He's not special. None of us are. But what makes us special is the fact that we can just keep moving forward. That's what makes us special. Okay? And like I said, I'm going to keep drilling these fucking words in your brain because no one else will. As much as difficult, it's so difficult to tell somebody in that fucking pit that they can crawl themselves out. They just need there's a ladder to your left. Start climbing. But your eyes are watery. You're fucking in a pitch black room. You don't know what the fuck is going on. Of course, this is metaphorical. You're in a fucking hole. Dig yourself out. And no, I get it. I get it. It's hard right now. It's hard. I wake up every day and it's a fucking struggle. Even when I'm doing shit I want to do. Sometimes I'm too fucking tired to do this shit. And it takes me forever to make these fucking podcasts. Sometimes I don't want to stream. Sometimes I'm just fucking feeling like absolute garbage. Every fucking day I feel that way. But I keep moving forward and I want to let you know that you can do it too. I'm not special. I'm not different. I'm not unique. I'm just some fucking guy trying to get through life and be better. And that's what you need to focus on. So if you ever feel lonely, come here. I'll either make you laugh or make you inspire. And if I can, I'll do my damn best to do it. Okay? Like I said, I'm just some fucking guy here. Okay? But I'm doing my fucking best. And I expect y'all to do your fucking best. Okay? I don't give a fuck what your situation is. Okay? Well, I do. But listen, I'm trying to make y'all inspired, okay? Like I said, this isn't scripted. It's just coming out of my fucking brain, man. You know? I'm gonna take a sip here. I'm dry. My mouth's dry as fuck. Keep moving forward, brother. Cling on to whatever the fuck you need to cling on and move forward. Because life moves so fast nowadays that it's so difficult to just take a sec, stop, and work on yourself. Think about yourself. Because whatever, right?